my friends that I know that are from that area, like they talk about it very openly, like, oh, that restaurant's a mafia owned restaurant. Like, that's that back corner is for that family. And it's just like talked about normally. Areas in Chicago are the same way. So I think we just don't live in that world where you're just like walking into an Italian restaurant and there's like a table that you kind of stay away from.
Goes on in the back room every now and again. You just never know. The money laundering is just, happening and taking place. It's crazy though.
It is. And I think that for me, a lot of this too goes back to the NBA and I've become farther and farther from liking the NBA as I've gotten older. Multiple reasons for that, I think. But some of it is more so I don't like that they don't play defense as much anymore. Like, I like the defensive side of NBA, and I don't like the flopping. And I feel like there's a lot of things that have kind of started to the politics and drawn me away from what the NBA was. And then this last year, there's already been the conversations of like, are certain things fixed? And then the Luka trade happens, then they win they get the lottery and they get the number 1 overall pick, and people are like, no way that like happens without some sort of fix in. And then now multiple things come out like this where you're like, now, and you wonder why people think the NBA is kind of geared that way and steering that way. So it is, and it's wild. The moment I looked at my phone when it like popped up on my screen, and I was like, hold on, what? And at first it kind of seemed like it was a sports betting thing at first. And so obviously the player one is attached to that, but then and if you go into and you read, especially on Twitter, they have a lot of details of what this gambling, the poker thing, some of the things they had, like an X-ray in the table to scan the cards that were like, face down, and the tray cameras in the card tray tables.
It's cheating.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and it's wild. And obviously it's associated with the mafia, so that is obviously adding a whole other layer to this. But yeah, this is not what I thought I'd wake up to today. The NBA just kicked off, and now they get thrown this.
Yeah, and I feel like there was a lot of excitement over the last night's games and everything too. But yeah, RJ, in your world, when this news broke, were you kind of thinking, come on, man, like stay away from my sport?
Absolutely not. I mean, I like to believe that things like this are happening all the time. You have conspiracy theories that, I mean, they go back as far as, like the 80s, the 90s, that whole era of basketball where you felt that there was some sort of gambling thing going on, trying to get a leg up on the competition. If anything, my issue is gambling has been so prevalent in today's day and age. I mean, you have Mike Greenberg and the Get Up crew talking about, hey, like gambling's bad. It's horrible. You shouldn't be doing this in the game. And if you see in the lower right-hand corner, it's saying, hey, download ESPN Bet.
Right.
So, I think anyone who's trying to get a leg up on the competition, I mean, Damon Jones, they're trying to say that he was trying to get inside information on LeBron James's leg injury. He's been arrested too. He was the assistant coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers once upon a time. So, and also a teammate of one LeBron James in Cleveland. Way to do your boy like that. It's a crazy thing, but anything's been on the table for me in terms of conspiracy theories dating long back to like the 80s and the 90s for me.
Yeah, I think it's just frustrating if I'm obviously an NBA fan, just because you don't want your sport to be tainted like this.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing for me.
Yeah, and I do think there's a separation. I get a little annoyed with just the gambling side of things. I don't think you should be able to gamble on your own sport that you are playing. That obviously there's a lot of factors that go into that. I don't think it should matter if an NFL player is gambling on an NBA player. But then they're going to say, well, they have friends, and like those friends, maybe there's something inside there, and then whatever. But to me, I do think that if you are having, different, whether it's bars and sports books inside stadiums now, or whole stadiums named after these things or marketed after these things, and when you're watching games, the DraftKings and underdogs and whatever is popping up during it, then you do have to at some point be like, we're accepting this. And so that I can separate from some of the other things that are coming out in this situation. And I in every sport you hear about, whether it's coaches or players or assistant coaches or scouts trying to get some inside information, trying to be that person that cracks the code of whatever player or whatever team is going on. And we've seen it. We know back with the New England days and the Belichick and all of the things that went down with that it's known. Some people get caught. Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, they got caught, and we talked about
escaped and went to the NFL, so he'll never have to face
deal with it. Yeah, so it's there. It's happening across all sports, but it does kind of suck for the NBA in terms of
The
you
timing.
just started. Yeah, your sport just tipped off. And I do think they've lost, like, their viewership hasn't been the best in recent years. There are certain things that the NBA has already been trying to fight back and get fans back, and this is not the way to do that.
No, certainly not. We have a loaded show for you today. Zach Albaverdi from Gators Online will join us in our next segment to talk about that Florida coaching search and what the rest of the season looks like. Cole Thompson from SEC Unfiltered will join us around 2:35, and then Cameron Wolf of the NFL Network will be with us at 3 p.m. today. So lots to get into, and just had to, of course, start with this topic that or story that was broken today, and it just blew my mind that in 2025 there are people that think that they won't get caught for things. And look, if you want to gamble on sports, by all means, that's why those places exist. And I understand some people don't want to watch a game unless they have money on it.
Yeah,
by all means, go for it. But when you work for a sport, when you work for an association, you can't be involved in this kind of stuff. And I guess at the more of the like human level, why are you trying to cheat other people out of stuff? Like gambling, if you win or lose your own money, by all means,
that's on you.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you're cheating someone else out of money when they're playing poker that is a rigged game, like it just that upsets, I'm sure, all those people who lost money. And I'm guessing that's kind of where this ended up starting.
Oh yeah.
Which I was reading that there were text messages exchanged. This goes back to 2019. So again, this whole ring has been going on for a long time, but text messages show that after one game in April of 2019, Chauncey Billups was winning so many improbable hands with the help of the rigged shuffling machine that his overseers said he needed to lose on purpose to avoid being suspected of cheating.
Oh my God.
Like that's how automatic it was for him to be able to win.
Yeah.
And most people who play poker know, like it's obviously a game of chance.
Oh yeah.
That's what
well,
card
Chauncey
games are.
also maybe just try and actually get good at poker rather than having to cheat.
Yeah,
learn the game.
Our friends at Best Bet can absolutely help with that. All right, we will turn our attention from the NBA to college football. Certainly a lot going on in Gainesville, FLA. We will chat with Zach Albaverdi on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
1010XL, where there's plenty of sunshine to go around. We love Jacksonville.
Say goodbye to glasses and contacts with customized vision treatments at Bowden Eye & Associates. Hey, Hicken here. Dr. Bowden and his expert team bring you all the latest options like Evo implantable Caliber lenses, refractive lens exchange, or traditional LASIK. Tailored just for you. Imagine waking up to clear vision. No hassle, no fuss. You ready to see the difference? Call now or visit BowdenEye.com for a free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the first coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
This is your escape. This is your next adventure. This is Mazda, and this is Mazda at the Avenues. Lauren Brooks here. Right now, purchase any new Mazda model, and Mazda at the Avenues will match your down payment or your payments for 1 full year. Plus, every new Mazda comes with 3 years, 36,000 miles of maintenance at no additional charge to you. This is luxury, and this is the start of something new. This is Mazda at the Avenues. For complete details, call 904-430-8047.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
They give their best physically and mentally.
Listen for the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Scholar Athlete of the Week, tuned up by
The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Wednesday afternoons on The Frangie Show.
On 1010XL.
Looking for your new favorite hangout this football season? Try Voodoo Brewing Company in the heart of San Marco. Locally owned and community focused, Voodoo Brewing serves up award-winning beers, scratch-made upscale pub fare, and laid-back vibes where everyone's welcome. For live music, trivia nights, and all the football action this season, make Voodoo Brewing Company Jacksonville your new favorite spot on San Marco Square.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to American-Electrical.com and see how they can help you.
Congrats to former Georgia defensive lineman Freddie Gilbert and running back Sony Michel's induction into the Georgia-Florida Hall of Fame, Friday, October 31st, presented by Miller Electric. To attend the luncheon ceremony, go to flgajax.com/Hall of Fame.
Did you know that for every inch of rain on a 2,000 square foot roof, 1,500 gallons come off the eaves of the roof? Call Clearwater Seamless Gutters and Drainage, and we'll design a plan using our Clearwater Seamless Gutters, and we'll connect those gutters to a Clearwater drainage system to solve your erosion and standing water issues.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters. And drainage, too.
SeamlessGuttersJacksonville.com. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Taylor Dell, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Tom McManus has the rest of this week off. We are going to chat now with Zach Albaverde, the Gators Online senior writer, who, of course, has been covering Billy Napier in his entire tenure. Zach, a busy few last days, I'm guessing.
Yes, it's been an eventful time in Gainesville. Thank you all for having me on again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we had you on when Florida men's basketball was making its run to the national championship. Something tells me Florida football is not going to make a run to the national championship this year.
No, and it's been a while since they were even sniffing something like that. I mean, I guess kind of 2020 they seemed like they had a shot. Maybe 2012, and then that's really it. Like, it's been 2008 since Florida's been in the mix, and that's what they got to get figured out right now.
Yeah, it does feel like it's been since, really, to me, like 2009. 12 was more, must champ and everything. They were never winning. And 2000.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct. Like they could have.
maybe.
I can't remember what game it was. I want to say it was the USC Notre Dame game. I can't remember which outcome Florida needed, but I think if that game would have went their way, they might have had a chance to play for the national championship. But would they have won with that team? Probably not. I think they could have won the national championship with the 2020 team, but they crapped the bed the last couple games of the season there.
Yeah, and now looking back, no surprise, considering Dan Mullen wasn't as invested as he should have been.
Yeah, although we did get some comments from him yesterday from Yahoo Sports where he finally pushed back a little bit on what he called some narratives about his departure. So that was interesting for anyone that wants to go check that out. But he was, as crazy as this is to seem, I didn't realize this today until I wrote a story today on Gators Online just about Strickland and what he's looking for in the next coach. I did not realize that Dan Mullen finished with the third highest winning percentage in Florida football history behind Spurrier and Urban Meyer, which is crazy to think about. But he had a better one than Ray Graves, better one than Galen Hall, better one than all the other recent Florida coaches. But it still wasn't good enough. Like, even though he went to 3 New Year's Six bowls and made it to the SEC championship game and almost beat Alabama, like, almost isn't good enough here. Florida expects to not just compete but win national championships, and that obviously is why Billy was let go, because they weren't even near that level.
Zach, obviously the conversation right now has been so much of what coach can get them back on track to be in the conversation of those national championships. And I do want to get to that, obviously. But I want to start with these changes with Billy gone and the quarterback coach, Ryan O'Hara, will be calling the plays now. I feel like this is kind of a cool opportunity for him because there's not a ton of pressure. I mean, just go out there and hopefully make the offense get some exciting thing going, run the ball, maybe see something out of DJ Lagway. But what are you expecting there when it comes to the offense?
More passing. I think that this is a deliberate move by Billy Gonzalez to try to switch things up on offense and, as he said, spread it out and get the playmakers more involved. And by playmakers, I think he means wide receivers, obviously, being the receivers coach. So, obviously, I think a lot of people were surprised when he said that Ryan O'Hara was going to be calling plays and not Russ Callaway. I was not surprised by that, even though I did expect it to be Russ. But now that I think about it and have wrote about it, it makes sense to – Russ was already involved as the offensive coordinator. He was leading all the offensive meetings. He was game planning during the week. He was putting the scripts together. He was doing a lot of stuff, and there were even times during the Napier tenure where he did call some plays. So I think just wanting to get away from Napier's system and just what they've been doing completely, I think is probably a good move on Billy G's part. And then you look at Ryan O'Hara, even though he is a Napier guy, he's got his own background and his own history. And I do think it's interesting that him and Steve Spurrier Jr. were together at Arizona way back in 2004. He was a quarterback at Arizona. Steve Spurrier Jr. was an assistant coach. So they have history together. And, now Steve Spurrier Jr. is going to kind of be elevated to quarterback coach with Ryan O'Hara going upstairs to call plays. So you're really going to get a little bit of the Spurrier, injection into this offense and the staff, which I think is interesting for Gator fans. Here's another thing interesting that I'll note real quick on O'Hara, and I reported this week at Gators Online, but he actually called the plays in the spring game for the Orange team. And if you can remember which team was the Orange team, that was the team that had Harrison Bailey throwing the ball, and he had 363 yards on 43 pass attempts. And that was the team that had Dallas Wilson going off with 10 catches for 195 yards. He caught 2 of those touchdowns. So I think Ryan O'Hara likes to throw the ball, just judging off of that little sample size that we got there. So based off of that and Billy G saying that they want to spread it out more, I'm at least intrigued. I want to see what it looks like.
I love that now you have to say Billy G because obviously you can't just say Billy. That would cause problems. Zach Albaverdi with us, Gators Online senior writer. All right, let's get it to Lane Kiffin. There were rumors circulating on social media, which we of course have to address, that Scott Strickland would not talk to Lane Kiffin. That's not really his guy. What would you say to that? And then what are the odds you would put? Those are false. Yeah, that's what I thought too. But what would you put as far as the odds for Lane Kiffin being the next Florida head coach?
As far as the odds, I would say he's the favorite. I don't know what the Vegas odds would be, but I still think that he's number one, and I think they have him as number one. Yeah, that's false. Don't believe everything that you read on social media, and just because it's on a graphic and it's dressed up really nice, that doesn't mean that it's true. And that is, I reported that. That's another thing I reported this week at Gators Online, because that was a narrative, because there was some fan site that I think had made that a graphic, and that's just not true. I think that there was probably maybe a time, once upon a time, where maybe Lane Kiffin would not have been a guy that Strickland would have targeted, but that's not the case anymore. He's gone and won in the SEC, built a very successful and sustainable consistent program at Ole Miss, which is not an easy place to win. And, I've reported that Florida was vetting candidates last year and that Kiffin was one of the candidates that were vetted. So Strickland has vetted Kiffin in the past. He's vetting him, I'm sure, right now. So that whole narrative that he won't consider him or doesn't want to hire him is just not true. So that's. I hope your listeners can stop thinking that.
You just made a lot of people very happy.
Yeah, I heard somebody.
And let me add real quick. I will say that, like, and I wouldn't ask Scott this unless it happened, but if it does happen, I will ask him this in a press conference, and your listeners can remember this if it does, and I actually get the mic and say this. But I'm going to ask Scott. I do think that he would take some personal satisfaction in stealing Ole Miss's coach as a Mississippi State guy. I 100% think that's a. I don't want to say that's a factor, but it would just be like a nice cherry on top if that is what ends up happening.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. But
I could see a little smirk coming across Strickland's face with that. Yeah, I heard someone describe it yesterday as the social media being like a game of telephone, a big game of telephone. So somewhere on a podcast, someone went on a rant and made that comment, and then it got misconstrued and taken, and then someone made a graphic out of it is what happened and what it seems like happened. But if you're talking about Lane Kiffin, the best odds, it seems like that's what the majority of Florida fans want too. What names for you personally, Zach, outside of Lane, would you like to see come to Florida if it isn't Kiffin?
Yeah, I mean, to me it seems like the other three that are mentioned the most and make the most sense, and there seems to be talk about are Eli Drinkwitz, and then Jeff Brom and James Franklin. I think James Franklin, I don't know where he would rank in the pecking order. And obviously being a, recently fired head coach, I don't know how that affects his standing. But the fact that he's available, that he's coached in the SEC, and that he was literally in the college football playoff last year, I think makes him a potential candidate. And, if Florida doesn't want to wait for Ole Miss's season or Missouri's season to end, or even Louisville's season with Jeff Brom, Franklin's right there, ready to start at any moment if you determine that he's the right guy. So for me, I feel like the next coach is likely to be one of those four guys. If it ends up being somebody else other than that, then I think that Florida will have been in a situation where they maybe weren't able to go after the first or second guy that they pursued. But the good thing for them, and I think for Florida fans, is this time around they're going to have more time to make this decision. Like, they're not going to be rushed. When they fired Mullen last time, which was late in the season, they hired Napier 7 days later. When they fired McElwain and went and got Mullen, that was a 28-day process from the time of McElwain's firing to Mullen's hiring. And that timeline is a lot closer to where we're at now versus when they canned Mullen at the end of the 21 season. So Florida's going to have a little bit more time to, they got a search firm. They've already started this process. I think, leading up to the firing, they were already vetting candidates. So I think they've got a good idea of where they stand right now.
Isn't it wild as we think about it? James Franklin might have been better off staying at Vanderbilt this whole time. When you look at the landscape, he probably wouldn't have been fired and would have been successful there. And look, obviously, at how good Vanderbilt's doing this season. But many people would say that's due to Clark Lee, and James Franklin wouldn't necessarily have done that. All right, Zach, when it comes to the rest of the season, we talked about the play calling and things like that. But what are your expectations of DJ Lagway and this Florida team? Obviously, DJ really wants to beat Georgia. He got injured in that game last year, and he went 6-1 when he was starting. So what are your thoughts on that game in Jacksonville, not this weekend, but next?
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for Florida, obviously, given just what they're going through as a program right now. I think they're really banged up defensively. It was the worst that it's been all year in that last game. I mean, they were just down so many players in the secondary. So we'll see where they can get from a health standpoint in during the bye week and leading up to this Georgia game. I'm very intrigued to see what the offense could potentially do with some changes. Could they catch Georgia, with some stuff, obviously, that they haven't seen on tape before. I go back to, as Billy G mentioned it this week, the 2005 bye week that they had his first season at Florida with Urban Meyer, where they came in trying to run this spread offense with 5 wide receivers, and it wasn't working. and they went into the bye week and completely revamped their offense. They inserted a fullback, Billy Lasco, and they created all these new formations, and they came out and upset Georgia coming off the bye week, with a different looking scheme. I don't think we're going to see that many drastic changes, but I do expect that Billy G having that experience and having this opportunity to kind of switch play callers, we're going to see Florida try to throw some stuff at UGA that it hasn't seen before, and that maybe is more suited to DJ's strengths, or at least, in the passing game, because I do think we're going to see them throw it more with O'Hara.
I was at that game in 2005. Florida won 14-10.
Oh,
yeah, it was low scoring.
And they had probably the ugliest alternate jersey that they've ever
was that the scale
rolled
one?
Out for that game. What's that?
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Gators, like scale looking ones.
No, this was the orange. This was like the orange shoulder.
Oh.
It was. I want to say it was a regular Florida Gator uniform. Like the helmet was the same, the pants were the same, and then the jersey. It was a regular blue jersey. But then, one of the shoulders was just orange.
Orange is Chevy. That's strange. It looks like they forgot to finish.
I don't know what they were trying to think, what they're trying to go for with that alternate jersey. But I mean, they won the game, so
bring them back.
No. We don't need those back. But yeah, the 2017 are the ones you were thinking of with the crocodile.
Type, skin.
Yeah, those were absolutely hideous. All right, Zach, well, we so appreciate your time, and I'm sure we will be chatting with you again in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated, and hopefully we'll have some exciting times to talk about.
Absolutely. All right, thank you
Zach.
again.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
You too.
As well. There you go. Zach Alberti, the Gators Online senior writer, obviously covering the situation in Gainesville closely. And what a whirlwind it's been for the last year for all those Gator beat writers thinking the firing was going to happen a year ago, and then going into this season with much higher expectations, and then falling just completely flat on their faces in that USF game, and then obviously the losses mounting, and then you win a game, but then the coach is still fired. But look, the beat reporters were all over it. You could tell late Saturday night that they had a feeling it was coming on Sunday,
for sure.
and then Sunday obviously Scott Strickland made the announcement, and now we shall find out, I would guess, in the next few months. I'll just put it at the timeline at that, who the next Florida head coach shall be. All right, when we return, we will chat with Cole Thompson from SEC Unfiltered. Let's figure out who's going to win this dang conference of the Southeastern Conference. It is Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the first door prize and all expense paid trip to
1010XL.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Here's hoping for a Raise the Roof football season. And here's knowing Next Gen Roofing is up for any job. Game day or storm season, you need a team you can trust. And you know what? You don't need a glitzy roofing company. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, no nonsense. Solid roofs at competitive prices and a commitment to the First Coast community. Right now, save up to $300 on your next roof replacement. When you need a roof, you need Next Gen Roofing. Team with you, it's a win every time.
Make Honda of the Avenues your first stop for award-winning customer service and world-class Honda vehicles. Our inventory is larger than ever, which means we have the perfect Honda waiting for you. Plus, at Honda of the Avenues, we always put our customers first, making the car buying experience fun, fast, and easy. You'll always find great deals on our huge selection of new and certified pre-owned Hondas, all prepped and ready for a test drive. Come see just how different car buying can be at Honda of the Avenues today. Stop by or shop from home at HondaoftheAvenues.com. Proud sponsor of Sporting Jags.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 23rd, 2000, the New York Jets put together an improbable comeback with 4 touchdowns and a field goal in the fourth quarter, which was dubbed the Monday Night Miracle.
Garrett Scantling here, and once again, thanks to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, I'm back to training for the 2028 Olympics in LA. My torn hip labrum issue is resolved thanks to Dr. Doward, and Dr. Acevedo keeps my feet healthy too. Training and competing, that's what it's all about for me. And Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has me in top condition.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Business owners, listen up. If your plumbing or AC company keeps giving you the runaround, it's time to cut them loose. Call my friends at Duck Duck Rooter. They already partner with some of the biggest commercial operations in Northeast Florida, like the Jaguars and station operations. Their office team makes invoicing a breeze, and their field techs, top-notch pros. Make the switch today. Duck Duck Rooter, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 904-862-6769. 904-862-6769. Tell them Frank sent you.
When you head out for a night with friends or going to the big game, don't forget the best game plan to win the night is to designate a driver and guarantee a safe ride home. Hydrating between buds is the best play you can make. Bud Light, reminding all to drink wiser.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Time to talk some more college football. We got a day full of college football today, and now we are joined by Cole Thompson. He is a host for SEC Unfiltered, good friend of ours. So, Cole, as usual, thanks for hopping on with us.
Taylor, I got some bad news for you, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
You're going to be living in a society where Marcus Freeman is your head coach forever because, you know, people want to come up with these rumors and speculations that he's going to take the Florida job, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news. He hasn't even interviewed for it, nor should you believe anybody who says he has interviewed for it. I guess you're going to be stuck with him as he leads you to the national championship.
Oh, no.
It's just such a shame, isn't it?
Whatever shall I do? I mean, that's going to be the big conversation around here right now, Cole, is that the Napier has now been fired, and who's next? And obviously that big name that everybody's talking about is Lane Kiffin. So I want to talk more. So we had a conversation yesterday about the college football landscape changing so much to now it doesn't feel like that Ole Miss and Florida job are as far apart as they used to be in the sense of an admiral job, one that someone would want to take. What are your thoughts on that when it comes to the possibility of Lane wanting to stay at Ole Miss?
So let's just start off with the elephant in the room. This is Lane Kiffin's shot to lose. Like, we can go ahead and just end the search right here. It's Lane Kiffin until it's not Lane Kiffin. Until he says, I'm not taking the job at Florida, that is the only candidate that Florida is going to consider. That is the only candidate that Florida wants. They want Lane Kiffin. I've talked to many people. That's the guy. But you are right. In today's day and age of college football, it's completely different than 10 years ago. It's different than 5 years ago when you look at just the landscape of college football at this standpoint, because nowadays it's all about no longer the regency, the ambiance, the recruiting assets, all the things that we look at in the past, the number of players that go to the NFL. It's about revenue distribution and it's about money. And if you can provide the exact same amount of money or enough money to keep you happy at a place like Ole Miss or Missouri or Louisville or Georgia Tech for that matter, and it's good enough to be able to help you build a good foundation to where there'll be more investments, there'll be more promises, there'll be more expectations that are risen, but realistic goals that can be accomplished, those are going to become jobs that people won't look at as stepping stones to a place like Florida. Now, from the resources standpoint, Florida is a better job than Ole Miss. I mean, you look at the state-of-the-art complex that they have, the nutrition staff, the overall recruiting staff. You know, a lot of the people that are currently working in Gainesville, I will be shocked if the next head coach that comes in there doesn't retain at least a majority of them, because if they were trending upward in so many ways behind closed doors. The problem was you still have to execute on the field, and that's where Billy Napier fell short, largely due to the play calling offensively. But at the same time, just because of you and I and anybody else views this as an elite job, the only person that matters when it comes to if they view it as an elite job is the candidate. It comes down to Lane. Does Lane view it as a major job compared to Ole Miss? And legacy is another big factor in this standpoint, guys. I mean, Lane at this point has turned Ole Miss from a team that was every once in a blue moon a feel-good story into a legit threat to year in and year out, get 10-plus wins, be in the college football playoff hunt. He's bettered the recruiting asset. He's made it a transfer portal destination. There's a proof of concept of the transfer portal working for him. And if he continues to look down this legacy, 20 to 30 years from now, they're going to call it Kiffin Field at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. There will be street named after him. There will be a building in the complex named after him. There will be a legacy there because of what he was able to provide. Is that something that he wants to look at and say, that's good enough for me? Or is it, I've hit a ceiling, I know that I'm only going to get to 9-plus wins, never be a college football playoff contender, maybe I'll be lucky to go to the playoff once every 5 or 6 years. And I am a better coach than that. I need resources that are going to come my way. So it's going to be a really interesting conversation that Lane has. And I think that this weekend against Oklahoma will be a big deciding factor on if it becomes closer to him leaving toward Gainesville or sticking around in Oxford.
Steve Spurrier Field, hosted by Lane Kiffin.
Exactly.
Cole, when it comes to who's going to actually win the SEC, is it going to be Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, or someone else like Vanderbilt?
I think Vanderbilt's a great story, and I'm not ready to dump them out of the college football playoffs. Same thing with Missouri. They both could end up going 10-2, but their pathways to Atlanta, I think, is very challenging just because of what they still have on their schedule. Missouri still has to take on Texas A&M. They still have to face off against Oklahoma. They still have to play Arkansas. That basically is going to become the agent of chaos in the world of college football, looking to light fire and restructure the SEC. So I think that they're out. I think Vanderbilt probably is looking more so towards a playoff berth the way Tennessee did last year. This really feels like a 3-team race at this point, and it's Texas A&M that remains the only undefeated team left in the conference, and their schedule is very beneficial to where they may not lose more than one game. They have South Carolina, Stanford, LSU, and then Texas to close things out. So they're in a pretty good spot. Oh, and Missouri, and they got to go travel there. So maybe that's one of the losses. But they're in a very good spot. They have a top 15 scoring offense. And every single week, guys, they cross off the box of the red flags that we have with Texas State Four jokes in years past. Oh, they can't throw the football. All right, well, you know what? We'll just run it 356 yards. Oh, our offense is slow today. Okay, we'll sack our quarterback 9 times and only give up 10 points to the opposing team. So they're answering every question that you have, and I think that's a really stellar standpoint. And then I think Alabama's the other team. And Alabama, to me, even though they don't have the record and even though they have a loss, to me looks like the most complete team in college football because the resume speaks volume, 4 straight games against ranked SEC opponents. And not only have they won every game, they've covered the spread in 3 of the 4, and they would have covered the spread against Mizzou if they didn't allow the late touchdown to Donovan O with less than 2 minutes left. They also were able to win in multifaceted ways. They finally were able to establish the run game against Vanderbilt. They have really trusted their defense to kind of bail them out of trouble at times. We haven't seen Ty Simpson be elite in his last 2 games, but it really didn't matter because of they were so dynamic and multifaceted to where you kind of just realize they can have a B- performance and still put out A+ results. So betting man today, I think Alabama wins the SEC. I think if they take down Texas A&M, the process to get there.
Cole, the end of the LSU schedule, so they have A&M coming up, Alabama, they have Oklahoma for their final game, Arkansas and Western Kentucky in between that. But is there a world, in your opinion, that they start having a talk about Brian Kelly if this goes a certain way?
I mean, Taylor, they're already having to talk about Brian Kelly. I mean, they have got to be the most miserable 5-2 fan base I have ever seen in my entire life. They hate life right now in Baton Rouge, and they are pessimistic as all down because of they had major expectations of winning a national title. They brought back Garrett Nussmeier because if he said he wanted to win a national title, they went and they spent money that they had for recruiting in the transfer portal on bringing in better defensive pieces. They went and they upgraded the coaching staff, and Brian Kelly made sure that there was every piece of the puzzle kind of solved this year. And here they are going into a matchup against Texas A&M where it is playoff or bust from here on out, and also you have to win out just to get to the college football playoff. 8-4 for most schools is a very good season. At a place like LSU, it's a fireable offense, and that may not even be the worst we see LSU fall to. They can get to 7-5, and if they get to 7-5, I mean, you already have 1 foot out the door because the boosters can't stand you. You aren't able to build a repertoire in the state of Louisiana. You're really losing good graces when it comes to the on-field expectations. And then you throw in the record. Brian Kelly may want to go ahead and once again make a phone call to his agent and say, hey, Penn State, we're from the East Coast. Why don't we make a call up there and just do what we've been doing down here for a school that's known for not being able to win the big game? Let's just do that up at State College and hit reset on my career, because that would really be probably the most beneficial thing for him if he does not want to, quote-unquote, be fired. The other thing is that this is a cycle where there's going to be a lot of names on the radar. If you think that you can get the top coach, get your Kalen DeBoer, your Marcus Freeman, your big-time guy that you know is going to get you to that next level, you got to be willing to pull the trigger. And, I mean, Dan Lanning is probably the ultimate pipeline dream. You don't turn down Oregon and Phil Knight money for anybody, but it is LSU. And if LSU comes calling, I consider it one of the 6 jobs in America to where you don't tell them no unless you know for a fact that you are set in your ways. And even with all that Phil Knight Nike money, conversation that you at least have to have because of what you could get in terms of working down in Death Valley.
And I'm guessing, Cole, you don't put Florida in that 6?
No, they are not in that 6. I'm sorry. It's at this point right now, we're still trying to figure out what Florida is. I completely understand why they got rid of Dan Mullen. The writing was on the wall. He was not the right guy, but you're still trying to get back to the Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier days, and you let go of a coach that took you to 3 New Year's Six Bowls to hire a guy that was known for recruiting but couldn't get the on-field execution done right and didn't hire an offensive play caller. It's not the same strategy right now.
Cole, before we let you go, for people who don't know, you also are a producer at Sports Talk 790 out in Houston and work on the Texans Wire too. Are you just as surprised as all of us here at the resurgence of Indiana Jones with the Colts?
We're not calling him that. We're not doing this. We're not disdaining Harrison Ford's memory by calling him. It's ridiculous. When is the other shoe gonna drop? Like, when is he coming back to reality?
That's what we're waiting to.
It's not gonna happen. That's the problem. Like, it's impressive. I'm not shocked that we are seeing Daniel Jones fit in the Shane Steichen offense, because one of the main reasons they drafted Anthony Richardson was because of the fact that the mobility was going to be an asset with Shane Steichen. But his confidence, his accuracy, decision-making, it's been exceptional this year. And it's largely due to having a great offensive line that's keeping them upright. It's the fact that you have a solid ground game. I mean, Jonathan Taylor should be an MVP candidate, and he's getting overshadowed by Danny Dimes. I mean, like, that's the reality of what we're living in. And then you've got a defense that's also really stepping on up. Lou Anamoru, lose your job out in Cincinnati, kind of upgrade in Indianapolis, where you are the number 1 seed in the AFC. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't know where the next loss comes. I really don't. They would have to find a way to mess it up themselves. They play Tennessee this weekend. They're in a very good spot to right now not only be a playoff threat, but a legit Super Bowl title favorite. And it's by Daniel Jones. I mean, I know that 2025 has been weird, guys, but this may be the one that we are all sitting here wondering, okay, we're living in the Matrix. The simulation needs to come to an end. Where's the cord? Where's the zip tie to go ahead and pull me out of this thing? I can't live here anymore.
It reminds me of the graphic that went viral the year that the Jags had their AFC championship run, and it was like Blake Bortles, Nick Foles, Tom Brady, and then there was another quarterback that wasn't like a star quarterback.
It was Case Keenum.
With the Vikings. Yes, it reminds me.
This is
Are
where
we getting that? Yeah.
It's going to be Joe Flacco, Indiana Jones, Mac Jones on the San Francisco 49ers because Brock Purdy's going to be hurt, and then Sam Darnold. Those are going to be the quarterbacks that we see in the AFC and NFC Championship game. Just be prepared for it.
Could be a wild time. All right, you'll find him at Mr. Cole Thompson on Twitter, college football host for SEC Unfiltered, and producer at Sports Talk 790. So, Cole, again, as usual, thanks for joining us, and I'm sure we will chat very soon.
Yeah. I told you about the Cubs, by the way, later.
Yes.
All right, there he goes. We have Taylor's Tangent on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
More Jaguars, more prep sports, more Gators, more Knowles, more dogs, more golf. Plus original podcasts from your favorite 1010XL personalities. 1010XL.com.
This is Jaguar Hall of Famer Tony Baselli telling you about Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and home remodeling company. With over 25 years of trusted experience, Heritage of North Florida has built a reputation for quality, reliability, and craftsmanship. Whether you need a new roof or updating your kitchen or bathroom, trust the pros at Heritage of North Florida to create the perfect place to call home. Mention Jaguars to get $1,500 off your next roof or kitchen remodel when you go to heritagenfl.com. Go Jags.
You don't need to bet everything on a Hail Mary. Just find a ride in your budget. Because Southside Kia is now Kia on Atlantic. New name, new location, same great deals. And we have the perfect place during the Kia Fall Savings event, like a new Kia payment free for a full 90 days. Or take advantage of financing rates as low as 0%. It's always a touchdown when you shop the best deals in town. Kia on Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection.
For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
It's kind of like his own private locker, and you're his guest.
Every time we talk, I'm reinvigorated by my love of the game.
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Hayes Blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Don't ghost your carpet this fall. Hicken here. Right now, you can get your entire home zero-resified from Jacksonville's Ultimate Carpet Cleaner and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 plus a free haul for Halloween. Get it? There's something scarier than ghosts and goblins hiding in your home. It's in your air ducts. This month, take 50% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com. Ask for the 1010XL special. Zero res, spelled backwards or forwards. It spells the same. Zero res.
Zero res.
Touchdowns are great, but hand-delivered fall flowers, that's the real MVP move. Jacksonville Flower Market can help you be the MVP. Pick up at Beach and Southside or online at jacksonvilleflowermarket.com. Jacksonville Flower Market, where love wins every Sunday.
This right here, this is where it starts. With a little flame and a lot of love. When the air cools or the night falls, fire brings the warmth. But it's what we bring to the table that matters. Slow smoked barbecue. Stories that stretch long. Laughter that lingers. And moments that just feel full. That's why it's always Sunny's here.
Celebrating 30 years in Jack's Beach. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn is your go-to for cash on the spot. They buy gold. Huge sale on firearms all month. Save during Florida's Second Amendment sales tax holiday with no sales tax on firearms. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach.
La playa is Spanish for the beach.
If you can't remember that, the word Corona also works. Corona, La Playa awaits.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Tom McManus on vacation for the rest of this week. He'll be back with us next week. Speaking of next week, we will be in Vegas this time next week, and we'll, of course, do our show live from Circa and the Stadium Swim on Friday from one of the cabanas. That'll be lovely. And, get very excited as we get closer and closer to Jaguars Raiders, and a game we've called must win several times. More on the Jaguars in the next segment, but right now, time now for Taylor's Tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
I know we've had some not so fun statistics and chats on this show or on all of the shows on our station right now at this point about some of the things going wrong. I know the video came out today that the Jaguars put out of after that game and Liam Cohen talking to the team. Really good if you haven't watched it. It's on all their social channels, YouTube, Twitter.
Yeah,
but really good.
Extras is what it's called. It's about 11 minutes. So you've got time.
It's really good. It just kind of shows that vibe of Liam saying, we've done it, so let's bring that back. Here's some examples of all the good things that you've done this season. Let's put the bad behind us and bring this back. And I really like that, and taking accountability of some of the things that he doesn't think he's necessarily done well either. But so there's been a lot of the negative talk on here about the Jags and some of the issues, and that's part of our job also. I know people get upset about it, but our job is to analyze this team as a whole, not only talk about the things when we feel like they're good. But I did want to
talk about the negatives after the last two games, especially this past one in London. We should be fired.
Yeah. But I did want to maybe throw a little bit of shade and salt on another AFC South team because I feel like they deserve it also, especially after the world tour of bragging about how good of a quarterback you are, and the big brother chat you were having with some other quarterbacks around the league. But the last 17 starts for CJ Stroud, 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 83.9 passer rating. Obviously, right now, too, the Texans are 2-4. And then Bryce Young's last 17 starts, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, passer rating of 87. So 19 touchdowns compared to 26 for those two quarterbacks, and one less interception than CJ Stroud's had, and a significantly higher passer rating. And a 4-3 record right now. And so I think that, number one, we know some of the issues in Houston. Their line is absolutely terrible, and I don't know how many quarterbacks would be able to perform behind their offensive line right now. It is what it is. It was already bad last year. It's worse this year. And so I do think that's part of it. You also lost Joe Mixon, who was supposed to be kind of your staple in that. You got Nick Chubb, but it's a Nick Chubb coming off a bad injury, so it's probably not getting what you want out of that. So I'm sure there are people over there saying, okay, well, there are a lot of things that aren't working around CJ Stroud right now. But I just think it's interesting because how quickly you put these quarterbacks on these pedestals of like, here's the next guy, here's the next generational talent, this guy's taking over the league, and then you toss other ones to the side like Bryce Young, who was benched a year ago, and then now you're seeing these comparisons of things and the quarterbacks who kind of are stepping up, and Bryce Young's not behind a fantastic offensive line. He's dealing with some things. I wouldn't say they have the best of the best weapons in Carolina. I think that he's been able to do a good job considering some of the things he's been given, and especially considering he was kind of given up on for a period of time last year. And I don't really even know if he would go back, if he was going to go back in, if Andy Dalton didn't get hurt last year. So I think that you sometimes have to take a step back and, yes, analyze everything that is going wrong and right on a team. And I think every quarterback situation is so unique when it comes to how they succeed and why they succeed or why they struggle or why they fail. But I do think this is just two very glaring examples of, number one, maybe be a little more patient on the quarterbacks, and number two, let's not hype them up too soon without seeing a full more than a year of work.
Yeah, it's interesting with the comparison, and I'm glad you did it because Trevor's gotten enough criticism this week, and during his whole career, rightfully so, than maybe his back half of 2022 and front half of 2023. But in general, we've now seen so many examples of NFL quarterbacks that have moved around and then they're successful eventually. And so sometimes, the benching of him certainly is not something we see very often. And if Andy Dalton, to your point, didn't get in a car accident, like I don't know what that would have looked like. But it's also okay to take a young quarterback and sit him down and have him learn. You and I are proponents of don't start the rookie quarterback. Let that player sit for a little while. I mean, I don't know that it's going to long-term be the right solution, say for like a Jackson Dart, that he obviously started playing very early on in his rookie career, and he's done fairly well so far. I wonder if he had the whole season to kind of sit back. They weren't going to do that, but especially when you spend that draft capital, you want to see what you've got. But I do wonder if we were to have more patience and give guys a little bit more time, what that would look like. All right, we've got lunch to give away.
We do. Free lunch to Chick-fil-A. Give us a call at 641-1010. Let's say caller number 3, you get free lunch to Chick-fil-A today.
There we go. And on the other side, Cameron Wolf from the NFL Network awaits. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
1010XL. Where there's plenty of sunshine to go around. We love Jacksonville.
Landscapers, St. Augustine grass homeowners, listen up. Tired of dealing with the brown and thinning lawn? TopDressing.com is now in Jax. Give them a call. Let them be your St. Augustine solution. Quick, professional, white glove service for your lawn. Listen, they treated my lawn and I couldn't be happier. Green, lush, smooth grass, just like I wanted. They're the best in the business. There's no better time than now. If you're ready for a change, give them a call, 888-850-1850, and top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the first coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
After attending a Saturday Bumps and Bruises clinic by Southeast orthopedic specialist, my son's hip and shoulder issues were diagnosed quickly, and he's back playing. As a busy family, we really appreciate their prompt attention.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Northeast Florida Auto, Power Sports, and RV dealers. Tom McMahon is here for Dealer Connect. The nation's #1 AI conference for dealers is coming to Jacksonville October 29th and 30th at the Marriott Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra Beach. It's 2 days of tackling the future of AI in automotive with some of the industry's biggest names. Keynote speaker, Hall of Famer Joe Theismann will autograph items to benefit the Tom Coughlin J Fund. Get tickets now at DealerConnect2025.com. That's DealerConnect2025.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the first door prize and all expense paid trip to
1010XL.
Guys, don't suffer through this season with prostate, bladder, or kidney issues. Ackerman Urology has 4 convenient locations with advanced urological care to improve your health and vitality. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Grab your cowboy hat for the Beach Barbecue Bash, presented by Sunshine State Plumbing and Reliable Ducks. Thursday, October 30th. Live music, sizzling barbecue, and Southern Charm, supporting Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. Get tickets at bgcnf.org.
Jacksonville is my hometown, and nobody knows roofing like me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We handle everything from repairs to full roof replacements, start to finish. We give honest quotes, use quality materials, and clean up like we were never there. We all look at Google reviews, so go ahead and check out ours. We're proud of all our 5-star ratings. I would say we treat you like family, but some people don't like theirs. Go to BrandonRoofing.com today to schedule your free roof quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
Hey folks, it's Frank Frangie for Lee and Kate's Class, and I think you deserve a spa-like shower, don't you? Get rid of that dirty, dated setup you have in your bathroom. Those old-style showers can be really ugly. Install a gorgeous frameless shower with thick, sexy glass and a free diamond coating protection that's easier to clean, like Rain-X for your shower. Your bathroom will feel like a luxury spa every morning and night. You deserve it. Visit my friends at leeandkatesplash.com.
You're gonna see a big difference.
Pizza to Tea here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes through in the clutch? From lunch to late night, only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Stick around after the sunset, and Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Come on, somebody.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by First Coast YMCA. Looking ahead to this weekend, 1010XL will be bringing you live on-air coverage of some high school football matchups. Starting on the FM, Bishop Kenny will take on Westside, and on the AM, Bulls takes on Wolfson. Both games kicking off at 7 o'clock. There's 2 weeks of regular season play left before playoffs begin in early November. It's 73 degrees at 3:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Tom McManus has the rest of this week off. He will be back on Monday. Now we're going to chat with Cameron Wolfe from the NFL Network. Cameron, when you saw that video that the Jaguars put out earlier today, the Hunt Extras, and took fans inside the locker room there in London post the Rams game and so obviously lost, and then, of course, into the team meeting room earlier this week, what did you think?
Do you hear me?
Yes, now we can. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, no, I watched it this morning, and I thought, one, it's pretty cool access into a team after losses, right? Like, it's easy to give people your post-game speech. You're inside the meeting rooms after you have a big win, but after you have a couple losses, I think people expect the access to change. And so I think the staff has told us that they're going to be give us a good glimpse into their process, and that held true. And I think it's really cool to get insight into Liam Cohen's coaching style, because you get these offensive-minded coaches, and sometimes you wonder, are they all scheme? And I think that video kind of showed Liam taking some accountability of his own mistakes and maybe why people want to play so much for him, for a guy, that has that much passion and accountability through tough periods. So I thought that it was a positive, and eager to see how they come out on the field after the bye.
Yeah, I think it was cool because you talk about that accountability of the coach, and I think that kind of shares the lesson or teaches the lesson that you can do that. And you saw immediately LaQuint Allen kind of admit to one of his mistakes too, and so that's a positive impact that you have on the team. Obviously, when it comes to the product so far, and we've talked so much about these last two games because they were losses and things just kind of seemed dysfunctional. But if you're talking about the season as a whole so far, Cam, of the offense, let's start on that side of the ball. What are you seeing? We're seeing drop issues, we're seeing penalty issues, but we've seen some good things here or there. We've seen some positive plays from Liam Cohen coming out of his playbook, and you've seen, De'Ami Brown and Brenton Strange before he was injured, and Travis Hunter and Travis Etienne, all of those guys still able to make plays. But as a whole, what are you seeing so far this year?
Yeah, I think I'm finding pass offense is still trying to find its identity. It was definitely a bummer to see them play as poorly as they did this past week, because I was there for the Chiefs game, and you started to see some optimism of the passing attack and the offense as a whole. And so I was like, we're trending forward, but, progress is not always linear, and they obviously took a step back with this game, these last two games. And I think the biggest thing is, like, finding that right rhythm. It seems like something is always off, whether it's, like you mentioned, some drops when Trevor hits the guys right, or Trevor might miss a guy because he's going through his progressions a little quick, or the offensive line played really good early and now they're going through some struggles and you can't run the ball. And it just seems like they haven't been able to put it all together. But I think one thing, if you're a Jags fan looking for hope, I went back and watched a lot of the Bucs in 2024, and the Bucs had a lot of struggles in the first half of the season too, as they were trying to learn Liam Cohen's system, the transition. I think they were 4-3 at this stage, and then they took off in the second half of the year. And so maybe it takes some time for them, particularly in the passing attack, to figure it out. I certainly think you'll see more of an emphasis on Travis Hunter trusting him to do a little bit more in the second half of the year. And then for Brian Thomas, he's obviously just got to be better in the mental space to catch that ball more consistently. But, you look at the offense and you know that Trevor has shown you spurts. It's just the consistency that's a little troubling, and you just hope that the bye week will help them reset.
Yeah, you certainly hope so. That passing attack has not been anywhere near where we thought it would be at this point in time. I think another reason for hope, Cam, is Raiders, Texans, Chargers, Cardinals, Titans. That's the Jags' next 5.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Schedule sets up for you well. You can, first of all, get back to the running attack that really helped open up everything. It's a lot easier to pass the ball when you got Travis Etienne, running the ball as well as he did in the first 4 or 5 games. So to me, that would be the first emphasis that you focus on, and it helps when you have teams that, have losing records. You may be able to get a lead and be able to reestablish that. But, yeah, you think about how they won early in the season. They had a lot of takeaways and turnovers and defensive playmaking, and then they made the opportunistic plays on offense. You got to figure out on these moments against these bad teams, how do we find our consistency when we don't have turnovers? Because you can't always count on the defensive turnover to spark it. So I think that's something that they get an opportunity to do here. They're in a position now where you start to think, hey, if we can get this right, make a run, playoffs in year 1 of this regime is a realistic goal, when I don't know if a lot of people thought that in the offseason. So time to get right in this 5-game stretch, as you said.
We talked a little bit about Liam Cohen at the top of there. The new coaches this season, when you talk about Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, Vrabel, Schottenheimer, they all have winning records right now with the teams that they are on as new head coaches. Aaron Glenn and Kellen Moore probably not dealt the best hand with the new teams they're on, and Pete Carroll. I feel like the Raiders are just kind of a little bit of a mess too. But what are your thoughts in general on the newest head coaches and kind of what they are doing individually with their new teams?
Yeah, I love to look at who's able to put the core of a culture in year 1, right? And it's not always wins and losses, but sometimes it is. And so, as you mentioned that list, obviously the Patriots are the team that has the most success of those current new coaches. And when you watch them play, it screams a Mike Vrabel team. The culture of it, from the situational football, how they run the clock, the details, how they play with, to how they can shorten games when they need to beat a superior opponent like they did with the Bills earlier this year. And there's a reason why they're leading the division. And for Liam Cohen and the Jags, you see some of those same elements too. When he gets into it with Robert Saleh, I've talked to a few guys who like to see that fire and fight because they think that represents what they are trying to be as a team, right? And so you see certain implements of your coach in the style that you play. And so I see that in the Jags. I see that in the Patriots. And so those probably 2 teams stand out to me the most. Obviously, Shoddy with the Cowboys, they've continued to throw the ball really well and play good offensive football, and the Bears seem to be turning it around with Ben Johnson. But I think more than anything, the Jags and the Patriots' early success, given their roster situation, to me have been the most impressive of the new head coaches.
I feel like we can't put Vrabel in the same category as the other ones since he has done it before and obviously was
the Titans
successful.
messed that one up. I think we could say that.
Yeah, thank you, Titans. We appreciate that down here. Cameron, I know you cover the Dolphins closely, so tell us just how it got that bad down there.
Cool, man. It went very quickly. I think that you look at a team that spent a lot of money on stars the last 3 or 4 years, kind of an all-in push, whether it's Tyreek Hill, whether it's Jalen Ramsey, Teron Armstead, trading for Bradley Chubb. It seemed like every year they had a big splashy move, and at some point they had to turn into results. And once they got into this stage where the money started getting expensive, they made decisions to get rid of some dudes, some veterans, guys retired like Teron Armstead. They traded away Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. They let Javon Holland go in free agency, and they hope that, hey, we're going to bet on our youth, our draft picks. And honestly, those guys just haven't been ready to play. And you can see a huge talent dip from where they were last year. And then once the talent dip starts to happen and you start to lose games, I think guys stop trusting, what the coaches are teaching them and start to question, what I'm asked, what I'm being told. And I can start to see some lack of trust, some lack of togetherness in their play and the way that players are handling press conferences. Tua, really poorly, called out his team through being late to player-only meetings and then had to spend half of the week apologizing to guys. It's just not the type of leadership that you want there. And so I think it's kind of snowballing, and there's nobody there to stop this ball from getting bigger. And so I don't know if we're at rock bottom yet, but I think the way they're heading, it seems like whether it's, in a few weeks or at the end of the year, we're looking at a reset in Miami because this all-in push did not work.
No, it certainly did not. Well, Cameron, we so appreciate your time and insight, and I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, lady.
Thank you.
There he goes, Cameron Wolf of the NFL Network. Like you mentioned, he was here on the sidelines for the Jags and Chiefs game, so he saw the highs that can be this Jaguars team, and then everybody that watched the London game saw the lows when it comes to the Rams. All right, we've got more to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Here's another classic Florida Gator moment.
Snap is perfect. Tebow uses that 6'3" frame to struggle for the first down.
I'm like, wow, this is pretty freaking fun. Tim Tebow jumps up and sings first down.
1010XL, home of the Florida Gators.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Big Chief Tire makes auto care more affordable with 6-month financing through the CFNA credit card. Frank Frangie here. Plus, get $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. Whether you need new tires, brake service, or general repairs, their expert technicians have you covered. With no interest for 6 months, now's the perfect time to take care of your vehicle. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to apply today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Attention sports fans! Are you ready to take your game to the next level? Look no further than Best Bet. You can bet anywhere, but you'll definitely win here. Experience the thrill of sports like never before. With all the big games broadcasting live on our big screens and a menu stacked with your favorite foods and refreshing drinks, you're sure to find your winning ticket. Bet anywhere, win here, only at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, Jags fans, Tommy Mack here. Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with Crown Royal Rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with generous spirit. Visit crownroyal.com/Royal Rig on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
I insist on complete honesty.
You can chime in anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
If you have something to say to me, I wish you would just say it.
Share your opinion.
Are you nuts?
What?
641-1010.
It's crazy.
Rollovers, head-on collisions, hit and runs. You name it, we've litigated it.
And while insurance companies joke about the mayhem that occurs on roadways, we've seen the real effects. Lost lives, catastrophic injury, cars crushed like soda cans. And trust us, there's nothing funny about it.
If you've been in a crash, count on our experienced attorneys to seek full justice and all the money your case is worth.
For a fairer fight, you know who to call. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, you look troubled. Is something bugging you?
This friendship isn't all upside for me, Jason. People keep asking me stuff about you.
They ask you about me?
Is it really cooler with Bueller, they ask. So I say, totally. And they say, how do you mean that? And I say, he fixes air conditioners, which literally makes somebody cool. But he also has cool sunglasses and cool people and a cool family.
And I try to make working at Bueller Air and Plumbing a really cool experience for our technicians and plumbers. We treat our people like gold, and they treat our homeowners the exact same way.
Great. Well, now there's another cool thing I've got to remember. This is a lot of responsibility, Jason.
Life can get hectic sometimes. If you don't take a moment to slow down and appreciate all the cool parts, you could miss it.
Do people ask you about me at all?
Weirdly, they do.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
All right, let's talk a little more Jaguars football. The Jaguars social team does a great job taking us behind the scenes, and that is in the locker room, certainly post games, but also in the team meetings. I don't know that I've ever seen video released from a Jacksonville Jaguars head coach meeting with the team, other than maybe tiny little snippets, but certainly not an 11-minute video from both post game after the Rams lost to the team meeting earlier this week. So let's hear a little bit from Liam Cohen, but first, time for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane, driven by Mazda at the Avenues. This is luxury. This is Mazda at the Avenues.
To Cameron Wolf's point, who just joined us from the NFL Network, and to the title, too, of this video of the Hunt Extras, Everything in Front of Us, I know it's been really difficult to even think about this Jaguars team as being anything other than miserable after the way that the offense looked against the Seahawks, and then certainly the way that the offense, defense, and really special teams looked against the Rams. They looked like they didn't even belong in the same league as the Los Angeles Rams. I get that. But if you were to take that Rams loss and put that earlier in the season and then take a 49ers win or a Chiefs win and put that later in the season, we would all feel like that's the most recent game. We would all feel so different during the bye week. And I know that's not how it works, that the team is trending down, not trending up. I understand that. But like we've tried to do this week, move on from that, put that in the rear view, and now think about, your next five game stretch. Those are games that you should win. Even if you don't necessarily fix everything that's gone wrong, if you fix a few things that's gone wrong, you should absolutely win most of those of the next 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've already proven that not playing perfect football, you can win football games. It hasn't been anywhere close to perfect offensively.
Right.
You've had some really, really good defensive games and games with a ton of turnovers and games where you felt like everything was in place and everyone was making every tackle and everyone's just in the perfect place as in making their tackle, but also to get these interceptions and force plays in that type of realm. But I just don't feel like you've had that full game of the offense feeling like that, and you still have a winning record right now. So I do think you have to take that, and clearly Liam sees it. And we'll listen to these clips in a minute, but the team feels it, the team sees it, Liam sees it. Everybody in that building knows that, hey, okay, we've done some good things, but we've also have been killing ourselves in a lot of situations when it comes to going backwards because of penalties, turnovers, drops, all of those things. Those add up fast throughout the season. And I do think that was early on, I was saying you've got to start cleaning these up because those start, the more you do those, the longer you do those, the losses start to come eventually. And
they're bad habits.
It is. You get stuck in that. Or like you have that conversation where they're like, okay, but we're winning. So how much are you actually working on cleaning up some of those things that maybe you should have if you're winning games? So maybe these last 2 games were a reality check a little bit and maybe what they needed, honestly. We've talked so much about after the Bengals loss of how is this team going to rebound after this Bengals loss? Is it going to be the same Jags we've had previously where things spiral out of control and it looks really bad? Obviously, that didn't happen. You go on and you beat the Chiefs Monday Night Football.
You beat the Texans.
And then the Chiefs.
Big monkey on their
and
back.
so both of those, because the Texans won at home, had been hovering over you, even though it's not the Texans of the past or the last couple years. But then the Chiefs, and I think that was a big thing where we're like, okay, this team is not going to be one of those teams that lets a loss drag them down. Then you beat the Chiefs, and you were like, how are you going to come out of this Chiefs game? That hasn't been the best, and that is what you need to start. You want to see kind of start to get fixed.
Yeah, I think we were convincing ourselves that the trenches were fixed, right? Because the way the offensive line was playing and running the football and protecting Trevor, and the way the defensive line in totality was getting pressures, not necessarily sacks, but pressures.
Yeah.
And then those were causing the takeaways. So we thought, all right, we can check both of those boxes. And that's how you build a winning football team, is you build from the trenches out. Well, the two teams that they just played in the Seahawks and the Rams, they have built the trenches.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to have really built the trenches as far as both protecting your quarterback, being able to run the football. And look, the Seahawks
Getting
and
after the
Rams,
quarterback.
yeah, those games were drastically different. The Seahawks, it just felt like to me, they were harassing Trevor. There was nothing Trevor can do on the offensive side of things. And then the defense let 2 61-yard plays occur. In the loss to the Rams, it just felt like everything was broken, and the Rams were better at literally everything than the Jaguars. So to me, they are different, and certainly you feel way worse about how that Rams game looked. You don't ever want to be down 21-0 at the half. All right, let's hear from Liam Cohen, certainly talking about the loss to the Rams in London on Sunday.
Guys, we got beat. Let's call a spade. We got beat. We got out-coached, and we got beat. That's the reality. So in order for us to, guys, not be in those moments, man, we got to coach better early on, execute earlier, right? We came out, and it was bang, 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 3 and out either way, and then, they go down and have some good drives, and we get behind. And that's a hard recipe to come from behind, guys, against anybody. Also a good team that we just played. So for us, though, we've got to go look and evaluate over this bye at how are we going to go improve to get this early in the games, guys, fixed. Because right now, the last 2 weeks, we're getting down early, whatever it is. Coaching, execution, fundamentals, whatever that is. Early on, guys, we're getting ourselves behind, and now we got to go and overcome. We got Kansas City, we overcame. We did that. But, man, that's hard to do each and every week, man. Right? So to stay here or being ahead is a lot easier to live, as we know. All right, but that takes execution, detail, fundamentals, coaching. It starts right here, guys. I'm not pointing the finger at anybody else in this room. So it starts here.
Liam Cohen's sons are young right now, Jackson and Callahan, but I feel like when they get to their teenage years, they're going to cuss a lot.
Yeah. And those words slip out.
They're going to be like, well, Dad always has, so we can too. No. Look, he's a football
That doesn't
coach.
always happen. My mom cussed a ton, and I don't cuss at all. So sometimes you go opposite.
That's true. And certainly I'm sure his wife, Ashley, will make sure that they don't do that. But the bigger point is, in watching that full video, that obviously, again, post-game after the loss to the Rams, but then there's a ton more from the team meeting. And I love Liam's approach. Like, it's that tough love. And it starts with myself. I got to coach better. I'm going to show you guys plays of where I did not coach properly. And Ryan O'Halloran, who's been joining Hayes Carline all week with Frank Frangie off, did a great job. He got to talk to Liam for about 30 minutes and go through everything that was going to be discussed in that meeting and those different videos that the players were going to see. And they started off with, the ones where they could criticize themselves and the players, and then turn it into more what you saw also in the video of this is what we do well. This is us at our best. And you need both of those things, that you have been successful this season, not years ago, this season. But yes, you also had a stinker of a game on Sunday. And so let's try to move past that, but also remember what you did wrong. And it's not necessarily an effort thing. It's a technique thing. It's a fundamentals thing. And certainly if the message can get across, then hopefully there are fewer than 5 penalties this upcoming, well, not this weekend, but the next.
And that's what, at the one part, he was talking about himself, and he was like, that was a dog call. And I was immediately laughing. But I loved that because he's saying, I'm not pointing fingers at you guys. I'm pointing it at myself also. And I respect that a lot because it is. And we've talked about it the last couple games. We haven't loved the play calling. And when you talk about in that clip, he was just saying when you're starting behind, and there's a lot of ways you're looking at that. Number one, if you're letting the opposing offense score and you're losing right away, that sucks. But also just in situational moments. We saw right away this last week, both of their first drives, they went backwards to start. And so you're starting behind immediately. And one thing I want to see Liam Cohen get better at is that also. Like we've seen him play call very well when the Jags are ahead or if things go right. And we need to see some of those play calls start to work if they do get a penalty and go backwards, or if a sack's taken. What do you do to rebound from those situations? And that's a combination between Liam Cohen and Trevor in the entire offense. But I do think some of those play calls, maybe Liam gets into his head a little bit, and it did feel like he was, and he said it before that game last week, like, almost he was overthinking in the sense of like, I don't want to start thinking about like, what is McVay going to think that I'm going to do in this situation? I think he was. I think he let that bleed into some of the things that were happening situationally in that game.
And look, this is his first time around in this, right? And he so far has, I think his team overall, Anthony Campanile included in this, the defensive coordinator, they've done a good job against a Kyle Shanahan team. Whether they're missing players or not, either way, Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers are still winning.
Yeah.
The Jaguars beat an Andy Reid-led team, right? But he's an excellent play caller, probably one of the best, or the best in the NFL.
Against Spags, who we talked about that whole week being one of the best defensive play callers.
Absolutely. And so Liam Cohen has won some of those battles. And then obviously most recently, the Anthony Campanile's defense did not win the battle against Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Sean McVay won that. And the week before, Clint Kubiak won that. And it's within every game, obviously, there's going to be that chess. But it is Liam Cohen's first time around. And so I'd like to think that this time next year, he's not going to fall into some of those practices or habits that he's done, that he now can already look back with the bye this week and say, all right, I should have done that differently. I don't love that I did that. Again, I didn't love the play calling the last 2 weeks. I don't know why, but I thought before the season that would never happen, that I would be mesmerized by Liam Cohen's play calling all year long because of how bad the play calling was here with Doug Peterson and Press Taylor last year.
Yeah, and I think because of what you saw from Liam Cohen in Tampa too, and I know Cam Wolf just mentioned like the struggles early on of they had the same record, but Baker was leading that offense a lot more efficiently than what Trevor has, and I do think it was more efficient early on. They had explosive plays. You haven't really seen much of that here.
Right.
Those are some of the things you
they're
want.
dropped, or they're thrown over people's heads. Yeah.
Those are or they're called back for whatever, and so those are some of the things that you want to get shaken out. But yeah, I do think that it's never going to be perfect. And I do think sometimes we have to take us back to the conversations that we were having, like at the end of July, beginning of August, being like, it's going to take a little time. This is a very in-depth offense. Trevor himself said it was the most difficult offense and playbook he's ever had to learn. And so not only is Trevor learning that, but you're talking about a Travis Hunter who's a rookie learning that. And also, by the way, the defensive side of the ball when it comes to that playbook. And then Brian Thomas now in his second year is learning a whole new offense again. And then De'Ami Brown, who's new to this team, he's learning a new offense. So there's so many things that are going into this that I think sometimes we do have to pump the brakes and say, we said this. Like we said it was going to take a little bit of time. We just got a little ahead of ourselves because of a Chiefs win. It's almost like if that Chiefs win didn't happen and it was, let's say they lost, but it was close, would you have been as disappointed, or would it have been like, okay, well, this team is trending, like they're doing some things right, but you still need to fix some things. But instead you beat the Chiefs and everyone was like, okay, we're here. Like, this is a playoff team. You can win multiple playoff games because you just beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So I do think that game may have gotten people's minds. We skip some steps from where I think we actually are right now.
Yeah, we went from maybe this team can win 9-10 games to, well, this team's going to be in the postseason. It's going to win the AFC South. But yeah, I definitely thought the passing attack would be better than it is.
Me too.
That's 100% sure. But I didn't expect the defense starting out in the season to have nearly as many takeaways as it did. So that was a little ahead of schedule, which is what led to a few of those wins. And so can the defense get at least one takeaway per game? And then can the offense actually get back to running the football, but also start to have a good passing attack? Actually get over 250 yards through the air against NFL defenses. Like that, I think is a step that we're still waiting to see. By the way, ESPN's Bill Barnwell, he rated every NFL team's offseason, the 32 teams offseason. He put the Jaguars in the, quote, slightly above expectations, end quote. So to your point, he said the highlights: signing Jordan Lewis, 3-year, $30 million, hiring Anthony Campanile, and then disappointment, trading up to draft wide receiver / corner Travis Hunter. I want him to revisit that at the end of the year, since we believe Travis Hunter will start to get more touches now after the bye week and things are kind of settling as far as him playing much more, I think, on both sides. So I'm interested to see what Barnwell has to say about that then.
Yeah, and which he may. I think this is anybody you're talking about at this point of time, almost halfway through the season you're at now. And I think a lot of people, when you trade up and you give the capital you want, people said it straight up, like if he's not playing significant roles and making big plays on each side of the ball, then I think the Jags failed. And so people are going to hold on to that. But I do think we're going to start seeing that conversation change a little bit.
Yeah, I tend to agree. We've got the cool down and Tom's takeaways on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
your radio man cave.
This is great!
This is Jacksonville Sports Radio.
You must give me your designer's number.
1010XL.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Do you have numbness and tingling in your fingers, or wake up at night and have to shake your hand? Hi, I'm Dr. George Bari, and at Bari Orthopedics, we have a myriad of treatments that can possibly help you. If you have numbness and tingling, you may have carpal tunnel. You have cortisone injections, PRP injections, and shockwave therapy that may help treat the numbness and tingling that you have. We also treat it surgically with endoscopic carpal tunnel release, a 2-centimeter incision that will release the nerve and have you back at work and doing what you want to do in life in no time. If you have numbness and tingling in your hand, give us a call at Bari Orthopedics or log on at bariorthopedics.com.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to our website, CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
When you need plumbing, septic, or air conditioning service, trust matters. That's why more homeowners in Jacksonville choose DuckDuckRooter. From small plumbing repairs to major renovations, we do it all. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com. DuckDuckRooter. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 23, 2000, the New York Jets put together an improbable comeback with 4 touchdowns and a field goal in the fourth quarter, which was dubbed the Monday Night Miracle.
In a world where chains seem to take over, it's awesome to have a locally owned retailer who's only focused on Jacksonville. Beards Diamonds is the perfect example. Hicken here. All those jewelers in Town Center are owned by big Wall Street companies, but Beards Diamonds, they are local, man. Say hi to the Lupos when you get in there. They've been around and serving our area for more than 40 years. And Beards runs circles around the big chains. Massive diamond inventory, Beards. All the top bridal brands, Beards. Strongest warranties, Beards. Beards wins on price every day. They don't have extra markups to please Wall Street or pay commission salespeople. In fact, Beards guarantees to beat any national chain store on price. So don't buy anywhere until you at least get a second opinion at Beards. I am sure you'll get a bigger, better quality diamond for your money, and it'll be backed by local folks with integrity and local accountability. Man, in a world where generic chain stores pop up everywhere, refreshing to see a local place that can give you a great diamond. Don't buy a diamond in Jacksonville without seeing your best option at Beards Diamonds. Shop local, shop Beards at the St. John's Town Center.
Hidden Hills Golf Club wants you to know that our fall twilight rates are here. Plenty of time to get your round in before sunset for just $35 on weekdays and $39 on weekends starting at 2 p.m. Visit hiddenhillsgc.com to book today.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
You mentioned it at the top of the show a little bit, Lauren, but a reminder for people, we will be in Vegas next week. We hope you are going also for the game. The Jags will be facing the Raiders, but we are going to be staying at the Circa Resort Hotel and Casino during that time few different things happening. We do have a live show we will be having on Friday, which their time, obviously, out in Vegas, it's going to be 11 to 1 out of the Stadium Swim. So you're welcome to come hang out with us there for our live broadcast for that. But also the thing that I want to let people know of, we will be hosting the Huddle Up Party, which the Huddle Up Party is at the Overhang Bar at Circa Resort and Casino, which it's really cool bar. You can see the sports book and everything too. So all the games, all the live betting, all of that stuff's going on. But you do need to RSVP to that. So if you go to their website, the Circa Resort and Casino website, it's there. But it's a little easier if you head over to ours. You'll 1010xl.com/Vegas. There's a link there that'll take you over to their website to where you can then RSVP for the Huddle Up, which will get you a free drink to the Huddle Up Party. And it's some sort of teal Jaguars drink. I know it was there last year. I didn't get to try it. I definitely will this year. But also at the bottom, that's where you'll do it. It will also enter you in for the possibility to win a pair of tickets to the game, or also a day bed at Stadium Swim. If you haven't seen Stadium Swim, Google it right now because it's incredible.
Unless you're driving, don't Google it while driving.
Pull over and then Google it. But yeah, so a chance for tickets to get you into our Huddle Up, or a chance for that day, the day bed at Stadium Swim. So head over to 1010xl.com/Vegas. All the rest of the information. You can also get discounted rooms for that weekend also, and that's also through that link. So it gives you a few different options of their rooms and things like that, but it gives you all the details. So come hang out with us next week. We will be there starting on Wednesday, but I know a lot of people are probably headed out Friday, Saturday.
And even if you're not staying at Circa Resort and Casino, you can still hang out with us, whether it's at Stadium Swim for the Cabana show or certainly at the Huddle Up. That party was so much fun last year. We got to say hi to, I felt like every single Jags fan that was in town for the game was there at the Overhang Bar. But yeah, for people who are wondering about different road trips for the Jags, I know Nashville's obviously a super popular one. Vegas, I don't know the next time the Jags will play the Raiders in Vegas, so make some last minute plans and come hang out with us. And obviously Vegas is not just Circa, but we have so much fun at Circa. It has its own, like we said, Stadium Swim, but it has tons of restaurants and bars and everything. It's all within those walls, so it's a blast.
And then you walk out and it's Fremont right there. So it has everything. If you've never been to Fremont, which is like old Vegas, at each end of the strip, there's like live bands. There's stages up there that have live music constantly. It's a little wild out there, so just be prepared. Maybe don't bring your children.
During the day, I think it's okay, maybe. Yeah, we've seen some interesting things on Fremont.
And it's Halloween weekend, obviously. So
it is Halloween, so you'll be dressed up on Friday?
Yeah, I'm still debating what I want to do because I want to bring something to where it's not easy. It is easy. I don't want to have to like do a ton of makeup or do anything crazy, but still recognizable. So I'm still trying to brainstorm that because I take Halloween very seriously. I can't just like throw on something and be like, I'm a cowboy. Like I take it very seriously.
I'm a cowboy. I love that. I had Halloween bunko last week. I did not win. My mom did win a prize though, but I was Miss Universe, and that was like one of the lazy costumes.
But it was still cute. It was fitting.
Thank you. It's one of those. All you need is a tiara, and the sash said Miss Universe.
Yeah.
And then I wore a dress I already had that I'd worn to a wedding, throw on some heels, and
it's simple but recognizable. That's what I honestly, I've seen ones that is like Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality, and I feel like that would be still simple too, because the one where she has the dress but she's still like undercover in the dress, and so they add a few little extra features to the like universe dress or whatever, however you call it, the nice
pageant
formal dress,
yeah,
whatever.
The gown.
But so it's kind of cute. Something like that is what I'm thinking to, but I don't know. We'll see. If anybody has any ideas, text me on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
That's right. 641-1010. Give us Halloween costume ideas. We have family night tonight, and it is a costume family night. So my second costume is tonight, but I can't tell anyone what it is. It is a surprise. I can tell you tomorrow. But
can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And look, overall, Vegas Allegiant Stadium is super nice. We went last year, and it's a fantastic brand new stadium. The tailgating outside was lovely. The weather is going to be perfect. So I can't give you enough reasons, and hopefully the Jags win.
Yes.
Yeah, to go.
Well, and that's what I know. A lot of people too. Obviously, we have a lot of Florida and Georgia fans, so they're all like, "Wait, it's Florida Georgia weekend, and they play." I will let you know that there is a very early flight on Sunday, because I've already talked to people that are going super early Sunday morning to make it in time for that game in Vegas. So it's still possible.
It's
to just you rally through the night of the Florida Georgia game and go straight to Vegas and go to the Jags.
Yeah, I've been to the Florida-Georgia game, and then because the Jags played in London the next morning, I was hosting a radio show at 4:30 in the morning.
Sounds like a fun time.
Here, yeah, at 10XL from 4:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. So if I can do that, you can go to Florida-Georgia and then go to Vegas. All right, Tom's takeaways are on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
There's a reason play-by-play has been on the radio for more than 100 years.
There's a drive. Way back. It might be. It could be. And
Your home for live play-by-play is 1010XL.
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents, so let I-9 Sports help. They've got winter and spring registration open right now for kids all over the First Coast to enjoy their favorite sports. Log on to i9sports.com and don't miss out on the upcoming seasons. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
Welcome to the bundle event. Entering now our undisputed tag team champions, the mid-size SUV and the mid-century modern. Together with a State Farm agent, this auto and home duo are a powerful force of savings, service, and customizable coverage. Now, let's get ready to bundle.
Call State Farm agent Brandon Thomas in St. Augustine at 904-342-3459.
Availability and amount of discounts and savings vary by state.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, you talk a lot about a diamond's cut grade. Why is a diamond graded for cut?
Frank, that's simple. We cut grade diamonds to show a measurement of beauty and light return to the person looking at the diamond so they can understand the value difference between a diamond cut for maximum beauty and one cut for maximum weight. Now, it gets a little more complicated when you find out that the American Gem Society Laboratory actually assigns performance grades and proportion grades using patented computer software and grades for polish and symmetry using a microscope. The end result of cut grading is a final grade that can go from a 0 or ideal to a 10, which is poor. Each of these grades are priced a little differently. That's why you can see a diamond with a fine color and clarity priced low, particularly on the internet, because a trained gemologist won't buy it for resale because of the poor cut. Unfortunately, these type deals aren't good deals. They're bad deals for the unknowing customer.
Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Hey, 1010XL fans, it's game time, but don't get sidelined from the fun. The JTA Game Day Express is the smartest way to get to the bank on time. It's all sponsored by the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens. There are 5 convenient pickup locations across the River City, but remember, Game Day Express is cashless. All passes must be purchased through the MyJTA mobile app. Get your $10 pass today. For all of your game day needs, go to myjtafla.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. What's better than beer? Cold beer. Put your company logo on a custom koozie. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Rebound Rehabilitation. 11 great locations across the First Coast, and they're just a click away when it comes to feeling strong and healthy again. If you need the best path to recovery, look no further than Rebound Rehab. Log on and check out one of their great 11 locations.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
You've got a circle of friends, right? Well, how about a circle of beer? All your favorites like Bud Light, Bud Heavy, Mick Ultra, or Natty Light. It's all there in the cold case at Circle K. Probably one right around the corner right now calling your name. Slide on in to a Circle K.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Tom McManus on vacation, but that did not stop him from having a takeaway.
Now,
okay, it's go time.
Tommy's Takeaways. Jacked up by J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We are here for you. Veteran owned and operated.
All right, my takeaway on this Thursday is all centered around the Jaguars head football coach. The honeymoon's over, Coach Cohen. That's right, and it's time to get this ship in the right direction. You got the bye week to figure it all out. Play calling not as good as it needs to be, and your defense is slacking, and we got to get that all up to par. You're going to come back, get ready for the Raiders, go out to Vegas, and win that football game. Hey, everybody loves you when you're winning. They start questioning things when you start losing. So let's turn this thing around and get it right, and everybody will be happy once again. That's my takeaway today, brought to you by our good friends at J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
There you have it. Yeah, we talked a little bit about Liam Cohen today. Thanks to, obviously, the Jaguars for putting out that behind-the-scenes special access type of videos, and they've done a great job in letting us see what Liam Cohen is talking to his team about. And look, yeah, the honeymoon maybe is over. I would say maybe the honeymoon could be the entire first season, depending on how things go. But to your point earlier, Taylor, because of certain wins against the Texans at home, or on the road at the 49ers, against the Chiefs at home, because of those wins, the expectations were ratcheted up a lot. And so if I had told you before the season the Jaguars are going to be thumped in London against the Rams, you would have said, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. The Rams are a good team. Sean McVay's a good head coach. They still have Matthew Stafford, who, yes, had back issues in the offseason or in training camp, but he's been obviously a great quarterback for many years. He has a Super Bowl. That, I think, would have been a realistic thing to expect. But again, because of the way the season had gone, people then changed their expectations, and I understand why they did. I think the biggest thing is Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence have to figure out what's gone wrong on the offense. And I'm not going to put everything on the quarterback when it is all 11 on the offense, but something it feels like just isn't working in their relationship as far as on the field relationship to this point. Trevor doesn't look super comfortable in the offense. And so I'm not even going to use that S word, simplify. I'm not going to go there yet. But Liam Cohen, I think, has to tweak the offense to what is best for Trevor Lawrence. And I'm sure this bye week, they've taken that time to identify and diagnose what can be better.
Yeah, and I've said it a few times. I'd like a little bit more balance in the offense, too, when it comes between the run and the passing game, because to me, I think what we've seen is your strength has been the run game. And I know the offensive line struggles the last 2 weeks has affected that a little bit, but I just don't love shying away from it as much as you have. Like 40 passes to 19 runs is just way too uneven for me in an offense that I do feel like your strength was that. And I do think I went through those numbers too when it comes to Trevor Lawrence. The games outside of one game, he had the games where he's when he's thrown over that 40 mark or like high 30s, 40, it's when he's struggled the most. He has like the 54 completion percentage, 57. He's had the picks in those games. The games when it's down to like 31, 32 have been his best games. In those games also you're running the ball better. And I know there's a lot of 21-0
because that'll skew it.
And that's part of what Liam Cohen said in that thing. When you get behind, it affects a lot of the things that you are doing. But I mean, getting behind 7 points, you don't stop running. I don't believe in that. And we saw that even early on. I went through one of the, I want to say week 2 or week 3, where I was like, I don't even like how they started this game, because in the beginning of this game, it was pass, and they punted 3 times, and then all of a sudden you score when you start running. I just want to see a little bit more balance in that. And I know Liam does too. Like, it's not like I think that Liam Cohen doesn't want to run the yeah, he wants to, and I know that. And so I do think that we will see something, whether that's more Bashal Tutin out there in certain situations, whether it's, we talked about, is Makari going to be replace somebody? Are we going to, is Walker Little going to be not the starter anymore? Are they going to move Anton to the other side? I'm sure changes are being evaluated right now, and those things are to get that run game working again, so you don't have to put so much on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's the key, is maybe one day Trevor Lawrence is going to be the quarterback that can function in chaos and can elevate everyone around him, but that's not where he is yet. And again, it is just year 1 of Liam Cohen's system. And when everyone says, well, Baker Mayfield was better in Liam Cohen's system much earlier on last year, Baker Mayfield, A, right now is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence, but also B, Baker Mayfield has way more experience. He's had other stops along the way. He's learned a lot of different offenses, and I think that probably helps him, in especially this year too, learning another new offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's an old hat for him. Yes, it's Trevor Lawrence's third system.
Yeah,
but
he's tried to learn a few.
Right, but he obviously hasn't mastered this system. Yeah. And again, hopefully Liam Cohen can take the extra time, and he and Trevor and Grant Udinski, the offensive coordinator, can get together and figure out, all right, let's adjust. Yes, we're 4-3, but let's adjust to make sure that over the next 5 games we have a winning record to keep ourselves, in as close to the Indianapolis Colts as possible, considering the Colts are now 6-1.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking. And everybody at this point, I know there was some. Are the Colts real because of the schedule to start the season? I picked the Colts last week because everything I've seen from the Colts is they were real, and I think that the one question is Daniel Jones. Is it realistic to expect him to do what he's doing right now throughout the season? My answer is I don't think he has to. I think that's how good the Colts are built around him. The offensive line, they have a top 3 offensive line right now. That massively helps any quarterback.
And they have good weapons.
They do. Their
Tyler
weapons are
Warren,
great.
Michael
Jonathan
Pittman.
Taylor is having one of the best seasons of a running back this season. And so I do think that he has enough around him to help to where I think that even if he's playing mediocre football, he'd still be able to win football games, especially with their schedule that they do have coming up.
Yeah, so here's the next 5 for the Colts. They play host to the Titans, at the Steelers, play host to the Falcons, at the Chiefs, play host to the Texans.
Yeah, a lot of winnable games in there. Like, other than the Chiefs, I feel like most you would say. And then the Chiefs are beatable. The Jags have proven that, and other teams this year have proven that it's not feel like the Chiefs that we used to see. But every single category you see with them, I just saw a stat where it's like team drives ending in punts or turnovers. Indy's is the fewest. Like, that's just every positive stat right now is leading to the Colts.
They didn't punt for the first 3 games or something like that. All right, let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes, I know you're not the biggest poker player, but do you know anyone that lost money?
I do not.
Playing an NBA player in poker.
What a story. I mean, my goodness. And you have to wonder if this is just the start of a lot of stories like this coming down the road. And so obviously we'll talk about that coming up on the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation this week, but Ryan O'Halloran, sports columnist of the Florida Times-Union, is sitting in with us doing a great job. And we'll certainly get Ryan's thoughts on this. It's an incredible story. And but we got a lot of other great stuff. Greg McGarity will join us, the executive director of the Gator Bowl, to get his thoughts on not just how the ACC and SEC side is shaping up for his game, but also Napier and Kiffin and Norvell. And Greg has such a expertise from his career as lieutenant athletic director at Florida and athletic director at Georgia.
You're making Greg work late.
We are.
He's normally in the
Very
2 p.m.
late.
hour.
That's right. And we'll have a scholar athlete, so we're certainly excited about that. And we're going to, Brian's part 2 of his sit down with Liam Cohen is running in the paper tomorrow. And so we're going to go through that second part, which focuses on Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter, some really good information there. So should be a fun Frangie show coming up.
Awesome,
I feel like Florida State fans may say they saw Norvell playing poker somewhere.
Those tweets crack me up.
I've been laughing all day.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Hayes. Yeah, Ryan's done a terrific job. He's only been in town for a few months, I feel like, and he's already been to Gainesville and Tallahassee, and certainly covering the Jags closely as well. All right, that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, for the vacationing Tom McManus, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow on a Friday afternoon. That's right. But don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show with Ryan O'Halloran is next on 1010XL 92.5 FM.